Father started work in his uncle's butcher shop in East Street, where Goodman's shop is now. And we also had a slaughterhouse down in East Street behind Glen Rose. And at that time my mother also kept the Bear Hotel in East Street. I was born in Irvine in East Street in 1937. Car rally once in this old butcher's van. Again, my father and Roy Parry were the drivers, and Mike Pugh and myself were navigators in the back of the van, sat amongst all the food. Anyway, we went round this course. It was quite a long one. It was right up down Barrow and somewhere. I always remember Malcolm Richards was in this rally. And he kept shooting past us where we go around the corner. There'd be a pub and every Malcolm Richards was have somebody outside of it. Anyway, eventually he got lost. He made it home the next day, I think. But in the meantime, we went around the whole course without losing any place, and we won the rally.
That end down by the old castle, there was the gasworks down there as well. Which they generated the gas in the retorts there for the town. The gas was made, the electric was made from the river and generators.
Yeah. Radio was self-sufficient.
That's right, it went on the national grid then.
The water came from Conin. Their own waterworks at
That's right.
So everything was locally produced.
My first job actually was, some evenings and Saturdays was at the shop. RD riders. During the war, we used to get inspectors round, and our RD rider was very, very careful and very cute. And we had an inspector around one day, and he was picking up china, and he would say, "How much is this?" And I knew how much it was. But that didn't come out when he told this inspector. If you come in and perhaps they didn't like the look of you, there was nothing to say. Well, they could say charge you 2 shillings where it should be 1 and 6.
Oh, I got rid of it often. There's nothing that wouldn't be Sunday, but it was a hard goal. Like you had no vehicle, you had to get down the best you could, like horseback or walk or bike. You know, you got rid of it. You had to go rid of it. You had to go down the town to do your business, and you go back 50 years, I knew everybody made it. Everybody been here. Now I don't know a soul. That's changed now.
The changes I have seen in my generation is unbelievable. So we only came to Raider twice a year. The man came pony and trap. We came once before Christmas and to the pleasure fair on the 12th of May. That was always to welcome when we were children.
The centre road really today is still timber framed houses underneath the railway. Really, most of North Street, quite a lot of East Street as far as the York, they're all timber framed houses. Well, none of them are created because the dams that paid for have them renovated.
Never thought about going away, I expect, at the time.
I think that's quite clear. I mean, there was work here. Raider, actually, in those days, was the biggest administrative centre in Radnor. Raider Rural District went from the Ellen Valley and Gallagher Parish, if you like, all the way to Pennybont, down through Newbridge, Langley. So there was a lot of work in that area.
Well, there was a cinema here, and of course we concert, and the step bit, and of course chapel. We lived 3 miles from the chapel that my father went to, and I used to go on a Saturday to my grandmother that lived in Lansell. She kept the shop in the post office, and I went to the minister's wife for a music lesson, and then we came home with my dad on the Sunday.
My father was, as far as I can remember, he was working for Shufflebottom, the Lion Hotel. The bottom yard, that's the one opposite Tyler.
The very first evening when I arrived in Ryder, I ended up in Cundida, went to the Triangle Inn, and it's a quaint little place even to this day, but it is very, very quiet because it's only about 7:30 in the evening, and all that could really be heard was the ticking of the clock, and the publican standing behind the bar, and in the corner, two retired farmers playing dominoes, with the dog, sheepdog, under the table looking at me with one eye closed and the other looking at me very studiously. And I just sat there, and they engaged me in conversation when they broke off from their dominoes. They knew who I was. I didn't know them from Adam. I think they did introduce themselves at the time. And then I ended up in the Eagles Inn in Church Street a little later on. Same thing happened there. They knew who I was. And you felt as if you'd arrived with a placard on your neck stating who you were, you know. So, you know, it's the Bush Telegraph, isn't it? Getting around, yes.